Greetings, everyone. It's a pleasure and an honor to explain and introduce the Cascades Project Charter to you. The Cascades Charter is a one-page document. As you'll see, it's meant to fit on a large piece of paper, an A3 size paper. So that's like a legal size document, but actually a little bit bigger. It's meant to be printed. It's meant to be carried with you so that you can take notes on and get input from the people you work with on the 8 steps that are in it. It's not meant to be done alone. It's meant to be done with a team of people, not just special teams, any team inside a healthcare organization that seeks to get closer to a sustainable low carbon health system. It's a structured way of thinking. It's a it's a process that is influenced by many types of approaches that people know as quality improvement. Plan, do, study, act. One of the most prevalent approaches to making change when it comes to quality inside healthcare organizations today. Sustainable quality improvement is an approach that takes principles of sustainability and works to embed them in change ideas. So that's embedded in the charter. And lean continuous improvement is an approach that seeks to minimize the waste that's occurring in a operation or in a service and maximize value for patients, or what are called customers. So this charter has influences in many well-known aspects of improvement work inside healthcare operations. This is a communication tool, so it's meant to be used to gain input, gain consensus to people you work with, and also to help with presentations to teammates, to other departments, maybe to executives about what's happening. It's meant to be posted and it's meant to be shared. It's not a confidential document. It's used in any type of a scope of a healthcare service. It can be used for pediatric care. It can be used for geriatric care. It can be used for inpatient, outpatient, any aspect of a healthcare system that can be applied. Indeed, the likelihood of the success of your change ideas will be a factor of looking at step 2, which is scope. What is in scope and what is out of scope? It's an iterative process. I encourage you to try it multiple times, to work with it, to be frustrated with it, to be happy with it, to experience it, not to give up on it, and have the diligence to define the problem, go through the steps of what is and it is in and out of scope by asking your colleagues, understanding current conditions and processes related to the issue and gap that you seek to solve. Get to the root causes by asking why, by diagnosing what is the tendency, what is the reason why people haven't thought about the environmental impact of their actions. And from that point of view, getting to step 6, which is change ideas, the real things that are going to make a difference as long as people believe in them, and measuring those change ideas, step 7, and step 8, because you've prospectively been successful, how will you embed those practices in standard operating procedures, in presentations, in new employee orientations, in accreditation services, in accreditation bodies? How will you make this new change idea, this new way of being that has and acting and working in a healthcare system relating to the environment, part of just the way that's even taken for granted? So there are 2 real sides of the charter. You'll see there's a left-hand side and the right-hand side. There are 4 main components. So on the left-hand side, it's about what is the problem, what are we trying to achieve? This includes setting a goal, which can be lofty at first, such as decreasing the environmental impact of our team's actions. It can be more refined, and it will become more refined as you define your problem and understand your background information, current condition of the problem and of what you're trying to achieve. Once you've done that, you get a sort of an understanding of what do we need to learn more about to close the gap on the practices that we do that have a negative impact on the environment. Say it's the use of a type of inhaler in primary care. Say it's the use of a type of gas in anesthetic services. Say it's the lack of availability of virtual care in certain regions. What do we need to learn more about those aspects, those problems, to better make changes to enact a sustainable health system. So current state and root causes have to connect to designing improvement ideas. The design of improvement ideas, if informed by root causes and if informed by consensus of the team, will get us closer to making real change. And that change needs to be measured by some sort of a measure. And that can be a carbon or CO2 equivalent. It could be it's simply the number of patients who are seen. It could be the number of education sessions that you've held. Whatever the change idea is, should be measured in some way. And if successful, spread by some sort of a practice. Could be using the charter itself, the one-page document, to present what you've done. And indeed, that's what we've done with Cascades work, is we've organized these initiatives and projects into one-page documents that you can build on and learn from. This is what the charter looks like. These are the four main steps. Thinking about the charter as the left-hand side and the right-hand side. We've got on the top left, what is the problem? What are we trying to achieve? We know broadly we're trying to achieve a low carbon, climate resilient healthcare system, but what is the gap for us where we work every day, and what is in scope and out of scope for us to think about? Is it, as I said, all patients, or is it type of service? Is it a type of operation? You've got to define that. And once you understand your goals, your scope, your problem statement, and some people will say opportunity statement, that's really up to you. The charter is yours to edit and own, rather than the charter being entirely prescriptive. You should think about ways to personalize it. And in step 3, in calling it a problem or an opportunity, a gap between where you are today and where you want to be in the future, you indeed can start to own the charter. You'll notice that there are 2 pages in the charter template. One page has instructions, and those instructions will link to other quality improvement resources and more information that you can learn about in the sort of the references of the charter. And the other is a blank document for you to print, for you to own, for you to start versioning, making changes of, and stepping forward with your team. The current state of the system often is, what is the process? What does the process look like? What does the problem look like? Are there pictures? Are there quantifications of the amount of waste, or the amount of rework, or the amount of orders that are done with regards to a certain practice or procedure? Root causes, what is driving them? Perhaps it's a mindset, perhaps it's a taken for granted way of doing things. Maybe it is a lack of knowledge. From the root causes, we will set our change ideas. What does good look like? What do we want to have achieved? And once we've defined those change ideas, how will we know that change is an improvement? How will we get there? Steps, who will do it, by when? And if successful, which sometimes takes time, so plan, do, study, act is the approach behind steps 6, 7, and 8. Sometimes we have to go back to our change ideas if our interventions aren't working and revisit the root cause. So we learn by doing. The charter, being an iterative document, is an excellent illustration of learning by doing. Plan needs to be informed by understanding of current situation. Do, study, and act is done with others, not individually, and needs to answer the question, how will I know that a change and improvement? If I am successful, I'm going to act to accept and embed the practice. If I'm not successful, we're not successful with it, we might need to act to abandon the practice. It didn't work altogether, or even we need to adapt it somehow. So I hope that this has been a introduction and overview, a little bit deeper in certain areas than others, to the Cascades Project Charter. I hope that you'll continue to think about using the charter, that you'll sign up for a training event where we'll explain more about it, and that you'll use the charter to make sustainable change towards sustainable healthcare systems in Canada. So thank you very much.